like to call a meeting to order, regular meeting of Lindsay City Council. We take roll, please.
Councilmember Kimball?
Here.
Councilmember Cortez?
Here.
Councilmember Watson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Velasquez?
Here.
Mayor Salinas?
Here. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Kimball.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our invocation will be by Kurt Newsby.
Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for thee, for the wonderful blessings we have for this our community, for this great land we live in. We're thankful for the rain we receive. We're thankful for all our many blessings, and we're thankful to be able to have a good system of governance and a good way of life. Pray that I'll preserve these things. Thank you for this council. Pray that I'll bless our council, that they'll have the wisdom and the inspiration and the courage they need to lead well. That will help us, all the citizens, to work together to see our community continue in peace and prosperity. We have some blessing in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Move on to public comment. The public is invited to comment on any subject under the jurisdiction of the Lindsay City Council, including agenda items other than noticed public hearings. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person with 30 minutes overall for the entire comment period, unless otherwise indicated by the mayor. Participants speak at the stand and clearly state their name or the clerk. Is there anybody that would like to?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Sinclair, Sinclair Oil Corporation. And for those that don't know where Sinclair Oil Corporation originated from, it originated from my great grandfather, Harry Ford Sinclair. And a lot of people wonder, what did you do with your money? And when I was younger, I helped with buy a bunch of beds for Sierra View Medical Center in Porterville, and I paid for the computer system and the sliding glass doors for Korea Delta District Hospital in Visalia. And one of the things that I've always been busy, never stagnant. I always got my mind going. That's just how I was raised. Always doing something, always staying focused on whatever you have in front of you. And I'd like to congratulate the people that are in my city and those that have the chance to be voted in because of not only their experience, but because the structure that they keep in this city. And I was born and raised here in the city of Lindsay, California, and the structure, the loving element that we have here in this city, it's very home loving, and I can't wait to see what's in the future for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? See, now we're just close it, and we're going to go into item number 2. We're going to do a council reorganization again. What I'd like to do is present or nominate Esteban Velasquez to be our mayor. One of the things that we didn't have a chance to do in our many years of service was be the mayor, and I feel that, I've gotten 2 weeks, and it's not about the 2 weeks, it's about just serving you guys, serving the city of Lindsay, and it makes a big difference to me. The title, great title, but I'm all about being a resident in town and doing the right thing for everybody. And I'd like to nominate Pam Kimball as Mayor Pro Tem. Made the motion, is there,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I take, well, Megan already took a picture there.
If I could just stay right here, I've got this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll move it.
Just leave me here because I have this stuff here. Here.
All right.
Switch titles.
How's it feel?
Congratulations.
I don't know,
Mayor.
I'm kind of stunned right now.
Thank you.
So now we need pictures for you guys to put on the wall.
The pictures, I need to have them in the right place.
No, I'm saying to put up on the wall over there.
Well, we can picture right now.
We'll get to that.
All right. Well, thank you, Councilman Salinas, former mayor of Lindsay, for the great 2 weeks. Has more days than I do, unfortunately, but I think we have about the same number of days serving our community. I appreciate the council taking the opportunity to appoint me as mayor, even though it's for a short time. I truly appreciate it, and I know that this council and this community will continue to grow and become better. And with that, we'll go on to item number 3, and that is city council reports. Council members report on events and activities and matters that they've dealt with since the last meeting. So we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Kimball,
Okay.
which is kind of odd because normally it's different, but we'll do it this way. I'm in charge, remember? I got the gavel.
I just want to say that it's a pleasure to give a little honor to Danny and to Esteban to be appointed mayor, even if it's for a short time. Leaving here, you will forever after be former mayors of Lindsay. And
Thank you.
you're deserving of that with all your years of service. So
Thank
I
you.
think it's great.
Thank
There was no TCAG meeting this month, so I don't have that to report on. There is a new art show going up in the museum and gallery this weekend. Several artists from Visalia, including Becky Ballou, who went to high school here in Lindsay. Her artwork, and it's good stuff. You might even find something for a Christmas gift. So come by Sunday afternoon, 2 to 4. There's a free artist reception. Everybody's invited.
Thank you. Councilman Watson,
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
you sure you don't want to say a few good words about me?
I was-
We'll save that for later.
Okay, all right.
I know you want to.
I know. I could spend an hour talking about.
Well, we don't have that much time.
Okay.
Councilwoman Cortez.
I just want to remind everybody that this Saturday morning is the Lindsay Hospital Guild of Breakfast at the Memorial Building, 8:30 to 11, I believe. And then following Saturday, the 8th, is the grand opening of the sports complex. So hopefully you guys can join us.
Thank you. Council.
I have nothing. But
Councilman
congratulations.
Salinas. All right, so we'll move on to item, I don't have anything to report other than I'm really happy to be up here and sharing this time with you all. I'm glad we have a full house.
Yeah.
And appreciate all our families to being able to take time to show up. Got my granddaughter Angeli back there, Angeli. And Eva back there too. Oh yeah, I better say Brian. Brian, pay attention. I'm only doing this once. All right, item number 4, right?
Yep.
We have no student to report today, so we'll move.
She's absolutely noticed tonight.
All right, then we'll move on to item number 5, staff reports. City manager, you wanna?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will provide you with a written detailed report in the spirit of expedience and recognizing some really great people today. I'll hold my comments. Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to item number 6, consent calendar. These are routine items on agenda pages 1 and 6. They're approved. First item is approval of city council meeting minutes for November 13th, 2018. And item number 2 is accepting the warrant list for November 19th, 2018.
Move for approval.
Have a move? Second. And Do we need roll call for that, just minute order? All in favor?
Mayor should know
Aye.
this.
Aye.
Hey, just learning, it's been 2 minutes. All right, move on to item number 7. Proclamation of Outstanding Citizen Recognition, presented by Council Member Cortez.
Okay, so earlier this year, we established a committee where we would discuss and recognize people, Lindsay residents, for their great contributions to our community. Both Brian and I serve on that ad hoc committee, and again, you know, people are nominated or brought to our attention, then we discuss that, and we publicly recognize these people at one of our council meetings, because a lot of what these people do, a lot of what our residents do here goes unnoticed, and we want to make sure that our residents recognize these people and give these people the recognition that they deserve for the hard work and dedication that they do in our community. So today, we are recognizing Sally McDonald. And I have a proclamation for her and a couple of little items here, and I will read this to you just so that if you don't know some of these things, that you get to know what Sally has done in our community. Whereas the City of Lindsay is pleased to recognize Sally McDonald for her positive impact on the City of Lindsay and the surrounding area, as she has served as the director of the Lindsay Strathmore Coordinating Council since 2002. Whereas Sally has truly been an angel to the many, many people she has served over the last 16 years. Referring to her as a director who directs others in executing an operation does not convey the personal way in which she has fed the hungry and clothed the poor. She has been the driving force behind the council's Herculean efforts to pick up bread from Safe Mart 5 days a week and to distribute that bread to the needy in the fields and surrounding areas, to distribute canned foods, meats, fresh fruits, and fresh vegetables twice a month from the patio of the Church of the Nazarene on Elmwood, and to collect and distribute clothing to the homeless. She has provided transportation to doctor's appointments or therapy appointments for the many who could not do it alone without asking for anything in return. She remembers the children too, as she facilitates the Toys for Tots in the community. In her own words, she and others at Lindsay Strathmore Coordinating Council do anything they can to help our community. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Lindsay City Council, I, Laura Cortez, council member of the City of Lindsay, along with the residents of Lindsay, wish to extend our sincerest thanks and appreciation for your kindness, selflessness, and energy as you have lifted the hands that hang low and inspired others to greater kindness by seeing your love of others. So, Sally McDonald, if you'll please come forward for this. Thank you so much. I have a little coin here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we need a picture.
Yes, we need to stay up here for a minute and we'll take a picture. Thank you. Picture, huh?
Stay here, Sally, because we want to take a
Stand
picture.
right here someplace.
Do we need to
Anybody else
go
you-
down, or is this gonna be okay?
There's something, yeah, I think it is.
Can I just, thank you.
You're welcome to address the lady if you want. All right, well, we are on the time limit. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'm not the only one that's going to share this. We have my family, other people in the community that helps us all the time. Thank you. We're going to share this.
Thank you, Councilwoman. With that, we'll move on to item number 8, presentation honoring service to the city of Lindsay, presented by Mayor Pro Tem Kimball.
And I hope you have a little bit of time for this. This
I have a few
is going to be
minutes.
special.
Do you want to go here?
I think I should start with the mayor. Or should I have the mayor be last? What do you think?
You can go with him first.
Okay.
Otherwise, he's gonna be in my face about
Need to hurry.
it. He's gonna be breathing down my neck. Hurry, it's my neck.
And as you can see, I have a little bit to say.
Oh.
Okay? So, it's a proclamation from the Lindsay City Council. Whereas Council Member Danny Salinas has proven by his words and deeds to be goal-oriented and highly focused in his desire for Lindsay to be a thriving community during his 17 years serving and leading on Lindsay City Council. Whereas Danny's passion for recreational opportunities for the community's youth is evident in his leadership in creating the community skate park, developing the Lindsay Sports Complex, and directing dramatic improvements to the city park. Danny has built a legacy of service and commitment to youth by creating a safe recreational environment for families and developing the 172,000 square foot McDermott Fieldhouse. By leading community-wide cleanup and other improvement efforts at the Oliveville Park, Sweetbriar Plaza Park, and Mercado area. And by serving year after year as the chairman of the Orange Blossom Festival Committee, co-chairman of the Dollars for Scholars Committee, and member of the school district's Work-Based Learning Committee, in addition to participating in several annual downtown festivals. Whereas Danny is a champion of health and wellness, having not only envisioned and built in a collaborative effort with the Lindsay Hospital Board, the multi-million-dollar Wellness and Aquatic Center, following the closure of Lindsay District Hospital, but also then served on the Hospital District Advisory Board to encourage overall community health. Whereas magnifying his positive impact on community health, Danny has ensured access to safe and abundant drinking water for the community by directing the expansion of the city's water storage system, directing the improvement and installation of 6 miles of new water mains, and directing the renovation of the water treatment plant filter banks, which increased community access to surface water by 50%. Understanding the water system, Danny directed improvements to the wastewater treatment facility to accommodate the safe expansion of residential, commercial, and industrial users, and acted to control community flooding by expanding the city's stormwater management system to include the Orange Avenue Stormwater Basin. Whereas Danny's passion for business development has changed the face of Lindsay as he pursued much-needed improvements to the Hollywood Plaza, which provided a home for Starbucks, Little Caesars, and AutoZone, supported construction of the 76th gas station, the Burger King, and the Arco A&P and Mini Mart, witnessed development and renovation of the Lindsay Gardens convalescent facility, and personally developed the business site housing Tony's Pizza, Placement Pros, Cheetos Asada, a wake skate shop, and advanced several other business opportunities. His legacy goes on to include his efforts as he served on the Sequoia Valley Economic Development Corporation and Business Incentive Zone boards. Whereas Danny has recognized the need for inclusive, affordable, and market-rate housing, approving the energy-efficient and innovative Sweetbriar townhouses, 9 single-family subdivision developments, and 6 multifamily complexes. Further, he directed the development of a first-time home buyer and home rehabilitation assistance program to help disadvantaged residents. Whereas Danny's passion for a clean and safe community is obvious in his directing the hiring of a full-time code enforcement officer to address blight, graffiti, illegal signage, and other negative conditions, reinstituting a full chain of command within public safety by advancing 2 lieutenants and 3 sergeants, to better protect the community while reducing the need for overtime, acquiring the city's newest Pierce fire truck to better protect the community, and most impressively in volunteering his own time and equipment to convert, repair, and upgrade many of the city-owned streetlights downtown, crosswalk bollards, Sweetbriar Mercado lighting, and parking lot lighting to LED standard with help from Tony Alfaro because the city was in a financial emergency and could not afford the improvements. Whereas Danny's passion for street improvement led to the repaving and rehabilitation of over 24 miles of city streets. Danny's business acumen and innovative thinking helped the city to maximize its resources in executing street projects. Beyond the streets, Danny directed the construction of 12 miles of new sidewalks, including creating a pedestrian link between the community and the remotely located Roosevelt Elementary School. Whereas undoubtedly the people of Lindsay will revere Councilmember Danny Salinas' legacy of community service because of how he engaged with individual people, whether listening to people during city meetings or events like Coffee in the Park, using his personal resources to build the community, or serving as a volunteer in so many other ways. Councilmember Danny Salinas showed everyone what it means to care about and make a real difference in your community. Now, therefore, the City of Lindsay formally expresses its appreciation for and gratitude to Councilmember Danny Salinas for his tireless efforts in serving our community. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the City of Lindsay to be affixed this 27th day of November, 2018.
It could be official, right?
Yes, shake his hand. And we have more, and you can give that to him.
Very nice. Nice.
Okay.
We have time to talk that through.
So,
Yes, to take a couple breaths before it
that was
starts over
17
again.
years of work, so, and there's another 17 or so for Steve, so, and a lot of it's going to be similar because you two work together on so many projects. But I think I should read the whole thing, right?
Okay.
All right. Because there was a lot in there and it won't hurt people to hear it twice. Okay. Proclamation of the City of Lindsay. Whereas Esteban Steve Velasquez built a legacy of creativity, innovation, and vision over 17 years on the Lindsay City Council, he knows the best way to have good ideas is to have lots of ideas. Nothing demonstrates Esteban's ability to be innovative more than his reimagining of a derelict packing house as a safe, healthy sports and entertainment center for families and individuals after seeing the Chelsea Piers in New York City. The creative idea evolved into the 172,000 square foot McDermott Field House, which has benefited families and individuals for a decade. Not only does Esteban's vision allow him to solve big problems, but also to identify practical solutions to small ones. An example is his suggestion to develop a geographic information system for the city to use in competing for grants against other, often larger jurisdictions. His idea made Lindsay competitive and successful in many grant awards. Whereas Esteban is well known for his passion for business development, as he never stops looking for ways to bolster Lindsay's competitiveness among other regional cities. Esteban served as a highly effective advocate for the city on the Sequoia Valley Economic Development Corporation and Business Incentive Zone boards, ensuring Lindsay was always considered for new business and development opportunities. Every day, thousands of people see the improvements Esteban pursued not only at the Olivewood Plaza, which provides a home for Starbucks, Little Caesars, and AutoZone, but also at the 76 station, the Burger King, and the Arco AM/PM Mini Mart. Whereas following the massive SunTreat fire and the subsequent declaration of a fiscal emergency in early 2017, Estevan wholeheartedly supported Lindsay's sales tax Measure O to enhance public safety. His leadership and support contributed to the measure ultimately bringing approximately $1 million annually to the city's general fund, enabling the city to retain public safety staffing levels while restoring a full command structure and to purchase a new Pierce fire truck. Whereas Estevan's tenacious pursuit of solutions has led to enhanced recreational amenities in Lindsay, like improved lighting at the city park for evening practices and general safety. His personal example and leadership in community-wide cleanup projects have improved the Olive Bowl Park and the Sweetbriar Plaza Park and Mercado area. Not only has Estevan improved community amenities, but he has also directly contributed to positive experiences of Lindsay youth by serving as a coach for youth volleyball, wrestling, and softball, and as an organizer for OBF volleyball tournaments. Beyond recreation, he has served as a committee volunteer for Lindsay Dollars for Scholars, a mentor while employed at Lindsay Teen Zone, a steering committee member for Lindsay Healthy Start, and a steering committee member with Lindsay Healthy Kids, Healthy Lindsay. Whereas, after being a graduate of the first cohort of Leadership Lindsay, preparing future Lindsay community members for civic leadership duties, Estevan served as a board member for Leadership Lindsay and as a member of National Association for Latino Elected Officials, NALEO, where he was on the Health Policy Committee. Estevan's involvement as an ambassador for Lindsay Chamber of Commerce and with the Lindsay Kiwanis has contributed to projects from the placement of the Lindsay L in its current location to beautification projects of the Welcome to Lindsay sign. Whereas Estevan is a proponent of health and wellness, having envisioned and built in a collaborative effort with the Lindsay Hospital Board, the multi-million-dollar Wellness and Aquatic Center. Continuing to pursue public health and wellness, Estevan has helped secure safe and abundant drinking water for the community by directing the expansion of the city's water storage system, improvement and installation of 6 miles of new water mains, renovation of the water treatment plant filter banks, and enhancements to the wastewater treatment facility, which increased community access to surface water by 50%, accommodating the safe expansion of residential, commercial, and industrial users, and controls community flooding. Whereas Estevan has advocated for above moderate housing opportunities to attract business professionals and teachers to Lindsay. Additionally, Estevan was instrumental in improving the energy efficient and innovative Sweetbriar townhomes, 9 single-family subdivision developments, and 6 multifamily complexes. Estevan also directed the construction of 12 miles of new sidewalks, including creating a pedestrian link between the community and the remotely located Roosevelt Elementary School. Whereas Councilmember Estevan Velasquez welcomes ideas and listens to the community, he addresses their concerns, follows up to ensure appropriate staff action, and keeps the public informed of developments. His mind never stops searching for ways to make things better, even when he is cheering on a grandchild sports team. He leaves a leadership legacy of dreaming big and making it happen. Now, therefore, the City of Lindsay formally expresses its appreciation for and gratitude to Councilmember Estevan Steve Velasquez for his tireless efforts in serving our community, in witness whereof, hereby step my hand and cause the corporate seal of the City of Lindsay to be affixed this 27th day of November, 2018.
I'll take a picture of this.
We'll get your pictures. So, these are both identical except for the name, and they spell out the word Lindsay with the phrases L, leading with integrity, I, investing in a bright future, N, navigating uncertain times, D, delivering on promises, S, standing for what is right, A, adopting new ideas, and Y, you being you.
little different.
It's a little bit different. While we're waiting, can I get I'm gonna take executive privileges here and ask my family to come on up and take a quick picture before they take my name away.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Right here?
I'm not kidding.
Absolutely.
Just don't block my name.
That's right, make sure you're
Don't block my name.
of the mayor's side.
Hey, don't block
My
my name.
family will do it after, guys. We'll switch it around.
Here, come here. Oh, come here.
You and Eric's taking a picture.
All right, one more time. Hey, look up. Look at. Thank you. There you gotta
That's
go.
awesome.
Thank you, sir. I am sorry.
You wanted to sit on your lap the whole time?
Pam, would you like to move over here, or are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay.
All right. Thank you guys for, did you want to take pictures, Daniel, or you want to do it afterwards?
Afterwards.
He's gonna need to move the name tag thing around.
Yeah, and he's got way more people might think of, maybe not. All right, so where are we at here? Special address, item number 9, special address by select council members. Do I get to select who? I'll let you go first. Sorry.
Right on. I'd just like to thank my family right off the top. My wife Lisa, 17 years has been a long time. You forget a lot of the things that they actually mentioned on this, and being part of 17 years of great service is a big deal to me. Working with some of the staff has been great. Actually, all the staff. You know, I've always been partial to working with all of you, and it's been really easy. With present staff and past staff, we've had 17 years. There's been a lot of people that have come through these doors. I do a lot of the things just because I love my town, and I'll be doing it for as long as I live. We're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop doing what I do. We've always made a effort to make Lindsay better, and it's not going to stop. But like my daughter, she came. She stayed here. She was supposed to go home on Sunday and decided to stay for a couple more days to see this. My son back there, he started his own business 9 years ago because of the fact that we gave, there was opportunities here in Lindsay, and it makes a big deal to have them in our town and making a big difference. Tony, thank you for helping me with, doing the lights. I know the financial hardships that Lindsay's going through, and Tony stepped right up to help me out. Just everybody in general. I mean, Sally's here. I've known Sally probably 20 years, I think, and is always helping out people. Makes a big difference when people get together. I'd recommend that the new council members that come on be positive, make a difference in this city. You've heard some of the things that we've done positive in town, and I think if they can keep up with what we're doing, the town's only going to get better. Thank you. Top that.
I don't know, man. I also want to thank my family, my wife Bobby, who is a great sounding board, and every time I came up with a great idea, she would tell me not to do it. But she always was really an encouragement. We would often come back, talk back and forth about how to make it better. So she, I know Lisa and Danny, I'm sure did the same thing, where we would come back with items that were not in closed session, but we would come back and talk about what was going on and how we could, what do they think? We talk to our wives a lot about, get their feedback, to get a different perspective, and we appreciate, Bobby, your support. And my daughters who are here, I know are participating in some part of Lindsay. Stephanie is the Zumba queen. If you haven't gone to Zumba, you need to go. She's well known around, around this area right here. Then we have Melissa, who's a great counselor at our schools. It makes a difference there. Here she is. And we actually do the same line of work. I work for Corcoran Unified, and I deal with at-risk families and students, and we bounce ideas back and forth about, how we're helping our families and our communities. And I appreciate, and I often talk about her successes to our district and our conferences that I go to. And then there's Valerie, who's also my neighbor, and she's your new hospital board member, and she's taking that leadership role. I want to say because of me. What else? Why not? I'll take the credit. It's probably her mom, who also was on the hospital board. I also, since this has been recorded, and maybe I can get my brothers to listen to it. My brother Mag was always a good sounding board. He lives in Florida, and he often came to visit us, and he would take time to ask what we were doing next, and we would drive around Lindsay and look at some of the projects that we've done, and some of my other brothers were like that, and sisters. So my family was big instrumental in any success that I may have had. Obviously, my mom and dad were a big influence. My mom, when I first became a council member, she told me to behave, make her proud, don't be dumb up here. She didn't say dumb, but you know what. And my dad was always, was really encouraging, and it was, he told me that we all have a unique skill and a uniqueness about us, and we need to move forward with that skill and that uniqueness and share it with the community, share it and make our world better. And so I would encourage all of you to do that too. I have more notes. I want to thank, obviously, the community. We talked about leadership. Lindsay was the program that was instrumental in getting me to become part of the seeking the city council. The First Baptist Church, I was a deacon on the church board. Yes, I was a deacon on the church board. And I don't know if I was the lucky one or the ignorant one that got chosen to run for city council, because we were on the deacon board, and a lot of the old timers like Duke Jessup and Bill Manning and them said, Steve, they called me Steve should run for city council. We need a Christian man on the council, so we need to get him in there. So they nominated me to run, and so that's how I got started running for city council. I had a lot of mentors on the way, and I encourage everyone to have someone that they can either mentor or be mentored by. Gene Russ, Janet Clago, Val Soceto, Ellen Hendricks, were some of them, Bert Garzelli, Bill Drennan, Scott Townsend, John Maynard. Some you may not know because they're unfortunately passed away, have been, but they were instrumental in this community, and they were a big part of my education and becoming the person I am today, and the person I am leading here on the city council. So I appreciate their efforts, and I know that we should all be thankful that they had that leadership role. Mayor Pro Tem Kimball talked about some of the ideas. I was the one that had the crazy ideas, but not all the ideas made it. A lot of them got cut and were on the floor. So I was thinking about a couple of projects that didn't make it, and so you can decide if you guys want to bring this back sometime. Scott Townsend and I would often go and have breakfast in the morning at the Country Waffle, and we'd talk about ideas what we're going to do downtown. And we threw around the idea about a Ferris wheel down at Sweetwater Plaza. Wouldn't that be cool to have a big old Ferris wheel? Well, I don't know, somebody cut that one out. The other one, we were working on the L, and we redid the L with new panels, and Scott, I told Scott, I said, Scott, why don't we, and solar panels were just coming out, so I said, why don't we just think big, just make it spell out Lindsay out in solar panels, and we'll connect them so at night they'll turn on because of the solar power that they generated. We could have Lindsay in lights, and people could see that from all over. Well, that didn't happen. There was the skywalk that we were going to build, because everybody was concerned about, we're building McDermott, and all these people are going to be walking, and people are going to get hit over there at Sweetbriar and Hermosa, and so we said, we could build a skywalk from McDermott going over to Sweetbriar. We thought, we got to make it high enough so trucks could go through. Yeah, that didn't happen either. We needed some place to, we had, I don't know if you remember at the old olive plant, the Lindsay Foods plant, we had water refuge that we needed to do something with. This is water that was it was impacting our water system, so we couldn't take it over this. We had to figure out, what do we do with it? What can we do with it? So I had two great ideas. Didn't happen. One was, I said, let's build a pipe that goes all the way to Elephant Back and shoot it up into the mountain so we can green the Elephant Back. Instead of having the brown, we can water it with all this refuge, but they didn't like the idea of orange peels and stinky water being on the mountain. I'm not sure why. The other one was, we were going to take that water and we'd say, let's buy that land next to the olive plant and the golf course and just build a lake out there, and we'll put another hole in the middle of the lake, and then people could golf to that hole, and that didn't happen. Well, I mean, a lot of the ideas did happen. We went to McDermott. Scott Townsend and I talked in the office one time, and he was saying, like, what if we could build something like Chelsea Pier? We just got back from New York, and we were wishing we had something like that. And I said, Scott, we have a packing house we could do it in. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, let's go check it out. And it was already dusk and getting dark, so we found some flashlights, and the police officers, could you close your ears for a second? We walked into the place with flashlights and started looking around and getting the real ideas of how we could improve that. So we weren't necessarily breaking and entering, we were just looking closely. But I appreciate everybody coming out, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak and share my thoughts with you guys. I appreciate this council and the efforts that we've appointed me 2 years ago. I wasn't going to run again, and somebody said, well, they're going to appoint, you should apply for it, and I said, nah, and then we said, well, we know what, we could, if I get appointed, then this is what I want to do. We want to pass the sales tax measure. We did it, right? We did it 1%. We did the fire truck with that money. We worked with the police department. We wanted to separate the fire and the police department and have different departments so they can have better access and make the community safer. We wanted to hire more police people. We did. More officers. We wanted to pass the cannabis in order to generate revenue for future businesses and opportunities. We wanted to figure out ways to build this community so it can continue to grow. And we can do that, and you guys can do that out there. And the way you do that is, each one of you, there are plenty of committees and organizations in Lindsay and in Tulare County that you can be involved in, and that you can bring it back to Lindsay. So with that, I encourage you to, all the roads that $2 million worth of roads, come on, really? That's a great thing that we've done within the last year. So thank you, Dan, for reminding me about that. See, this is why they didn't make me mayor, because I keep on talking. So with that, we'll let you guys go. I know it's getting hot in here. We'll go on to item number 10, formation of the ad hoc committee to review citywide events, presented by Bill Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor Velasquez. We have the temporary use permit process to take care of uses, whether it be in a public space or a private space of a short duration. But sometimes we have larger events, could be annual events, could be long-running events that require a different level of discussion. And staff is requesting that we form an ad hoc committee to review these events. Laura has served on one of these committees that we've had in the past. We have Danny that's leaving us, who's also served. And I'm requesting to have a 2-member council ad hoc committee to discuss this. You communicate with staff, reach out to the community to see what serves the community in the best fashion as we would move forward. And then any ideas that the ad hoc committee would have, they would bring back to the full council for discussion and approval or going in a new direction. So with that, I request from you if you would nominate 2 people to serve on an ad hoc committee.
I think Brian and Laura would be great on this committee. I would nominate both.
I would second that. That's a good idea.
So you got a nomination, second, all in favor? Aye. Well, I forgot to ask if you wanted to do it. I didn't. No worries. All right, good. So, you know, there's slim pickings up here.
Bill, if you do end up with private citizens that were needed on this committee, I'd be willing to be
Great.
part of it.
Thank you.
All right, with that, item number 11, future agenda items. And council members want to throw something in? I can throw a bunch of stuff in. I'm not going to be here, but I put it in there.
I have nothing at this time.
Okay.
You know, one thing that I mentioned the other day to Bill was like more information now on Measure G. Now that, you know, it's passed, you know, where do we go from now? So just more clarification on that, I guess, for me, for us.
Now we'd request we have a majority vote on that in order to bring that forward. So you have a motion, you have a
Got a
second?
motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you.
Good
We'll
luck.
do that.
And so, Councilman Watson, did you want to add anything to
Not
that?
at this time, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Please. I'm not very good at this, but because I'm a big crybaby.
Oh.
I have the tissue here.
You're
But I just want to say before we close, before we move on, I didn't have a chance to address this earlier, but I just want to say thank you. You know, coming in, not knowing anything other than I wanted to help and be a public servant. In the last 2 years, I've learned so much. Again, I came in scared, not really knowing what to expect, but having worked with you guys has been awesome. I've learned so much, and I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry. Again, you know, I think I've grown so much as a person and as a public servant that really, Danny, instead of you guys, I'm very thankful, and I look forward, and I hope that, you know, in the future, this relationship continues, because I think not only, you know, are we a council, but I think that the way that we respected each other, even though we had our, you know, different ideas and sometimes disagreements, I think we were very respectful of each other, and that says a lot about us, I think, and I really hope that that continues. Even, I don't know, I just want to say thank you publicly, so thank you guys.
Thank you.
I would second her sentiments as well.
All in favor?
No, you get to get over that.
Yeah,
I want to see some tears from you.
Oh my God, it wouldn't take much. It wouldn't take much.
All right, so item number 12 is executive session. We have none. We're going to go back. I don't want to go to item 13 yet.
Yeah.
I think I want to talk some more. I haven't got to even to use this yet.
You can do it when you adjourn.
Again, we're going to reorganize again. I appreciate my time as your mayor. I hope that I've met all your demands and expectations. And so at this time, I would nominate the mayor, pro tem, Council, Kim will be mayor. And do you have a suggestion of who you want to be vice
I would
mayor?
nominate Laura Cortez to be mayor pro tem.
So,
I
second.
I third it.
third it, fourth it, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, do it anyway. All right, so, do you want to adjourn it? Or do you want to adjourn it?
Well,
Mayor, do you want to do it from there? Or do
I'm
you
gonna
want to do
let
it?
you gavel us out,
All right.
okay?
Can I get a motion
But
for
I
adjournment?
just want to say,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One more thing.
Oh, my God.
so, this is a tough meeting for me. So you want some too? But, I mean, Esteban was there, you were there for my very first city council meeting, and you were kind and you were encouraging.
What?
You were actually. Maybe not always thereafter, but at the first.
I'm sure it was.
And then Danny was there like just a few weeks later. And Danny and I have always been on the council together. I don't know what to think about being on the council without the two of you. It's going to be very strange. It has been a good journey, and we've accomplished a lot.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for serving and for being my friend.
Thank you.
We thank everybody here tonight. I don't quite know how we announced. We do have a little reception set up next door at the Mason House for anyone who would like to come over and shake their hands and just have a conversation.
If I may just extend this just for a few more moments, probably would be good for me to say a few words, but a few, yeah. You know, like Councilmember Cortez, this is my first time in public office, and it has been an exceptional experience working with these four other council members. I think this is a positive model that every city council, every government agency could follow. We have a wonderful, wonderful team of staff members who are devoted to this city. So impressed with them. We are very, very fortunate going through the very difficult times that we have, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to work with Danny and Steve and Pam and Laura. It has been a wonderful experience for me, and we just have put many, many positive things in motion, the five of us, these last 2 years, much of which will be coming forth in the future. And Danny and Steve have played a huge part of that and deserve a great deal of credit. And I appreciate being able to work with them, and I'm a better person for it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I really want you back. Would anyone else like to say something great about me? Because this is the last time I'm going to be up here. I'm just
Never say never.
There we go.
Why did you sign the minutes since you were the one?
Okay.
We should have specified that the new mayor, whatever, would take effect following this meeting, right? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's what we all meant.
Okay. All right. And so with that, a motion for adjournment and to party.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second to adjourn and to party on, so. Thank you.